Welcome to the original rock and wrestling radio show. Welcome to Beyond Ringside, your source for wrestling, MMA, and boxing in the Southeast. To contact the Ringside Roundtable of Beyond Ringside, email them at beyondringside@gmail.com. And now, your host for Beyond Ringside, the man, no myth, all legend, Fast Eddie Layne.
I want to say greetings, good evening, how the hell are you? 28 minutes before the top of the 6 o'clock hour in the Central Time Zone on this 10th day of January. Multiple location station in play, Fast Eddie Layne live from Studio 1. Mike Macaroni as always, thank you for the intro. I'd like to welcome in tag team partner, the one, the only, Mark MaBo Bowman. What's up, brother?
Well, if you caught the little bit ahead, a little Easter egg, yes, I am happy that I finally pulled a little bit of the guinea pig semen wood or paper poo combination that sometimes plug up my guinea pig's butts. I finally got the last little bit out of it. One of my guinea pig's buttholes. So if you heard that, that's what we were talking about. I ain't got no shame when it comes to my guinea pigs. I ain't got no shame. I love my little guys and girls.
You have no shame to begin with.
Yeah, and if I got to sit there and hold them and let them, pee all over me while I'm trying to make sure that their buttholes don't get impacted.
Okay. Stop there.
No, because when it comes to animal husbandry,
which you are very familiar with.
I think I used that word properly. Then, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Look, I know some of you listeners have kids, and I'm sure at some point, if they haven't already, your kids will get, constipated. You'll do whatever it takes to try to unconstipate your kid. Same concept. Let's just hope I never go as crazy as my granddad. He didn't actually go crazy, but...
Thank God.
Yeah. I just hope I never have to make the suggestion of, hey, let's just get a spoon and stick it up there and dig it out.
Okay. Damn. How far is...
He did. Daddy also suggested turning me upside down, filling a medicine bottle with hot soapy water and sticking a tube up my butt, flushing it out that way.
We can stop there.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said, people.
No, we can stop there, period. WWE refiling for their trademark on Balor Club.
I was going to say, speaking of crap, the WWE
needing a neck brace for this and a roller coaster for this segue.
Oh.
Lo and behold, for WWE NXT champion Finn Balor this past week on January 5th, they've held the trademark since April of last year when they began selling the Balor Club t-shirts.
Yep.
Now, lo and behold, therein lies the question. If Gallows and Anderson, two of the principals of the Bullet Club, much less AJ Styles, the face of the Bullet Club, technically speaking.
I wouldn't call AJ the face of the Bullet Club.
A lot of people do.
Well, a lot of people are stupid marks and only know who AJ Styles is. To me, do you know who the face of the Bullet Club is? Or I guess technically, they're still there.
Young Bucks?
No, I would say it's Carl Anderson. Originally, it was Prince Devitt, Finn Balor. Technically, I would still say Finn Balor's face of the Bullet Club because everybody else is pulling up all the old school pictures and it's all him.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, AJ was brought in at the, last year?
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Pretty much,
AJ Styles is the most recognizable face domestically.
Okay, but yes, but when you're talking about face, though, the face of the Bullet Club, I actually look at, I would say, honestly, Anderson and Gallows.
Okay. Therein lies the irony of the situation. Because you are one who watches more than just one promotion. You are one that watches more than just what is on television.
Well, I can't help it if I'm smarter than your average man. Which is really ironic if you do what I was doing right now.
Shut up.
No, I'm squishing imaginary babies.
After the opening blurb, I don't think I can handle anything else. I'd like to keep my appetite. We're doing barbecue for dinner tonight.
Trust me, you losing your appetite is a thing that rarely, if ever, happens.
I want to bet you've done it before.
Well, then I consider myself, an expert in making you nauseous.
Pretty much. You have mastered that talent, plain and simple. But from that vantage point, because the fact that you've got individuals such as Machine Gun Carl Anderson who have been very, very high profile across the board. You've got Devitt, who was very high profile internationally, but not as much so domestically. Same thing with Hideo Itami. He was very well known in other parts other than just the United States of America. You have individuals like the Jackson Boys, part of the Bullet Club, who are very visible all the way across the board, domestically and internationally. The addition of Chase Owens, stand out from the southeastern U.S., who has worked all up and down the eastern seaboard. I believe I should also be saying former NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kenny Omega, who...
Exactly.
You know, Canadian, so don't hold that against him. But, you know, started out, because I remember seeing, you know, Kenny Omega's name in, you know, places like Ring of Honor a couple years ago, whatever. Did all right for himself, you know, in the American independence, but goes over to Japan, you know, blows up, gets in the Bullet Club, and the way things are looking, it looks like he may be, you know, everybody's saying that he is the new leader of the Bullet Club. But kind of looked like him and the Bucks might be breaking off, because I think they called themselves the Excellence or something like that.
Conceivable.
Yeah, so, I mean, I would like to see, especially, you know, because there was talk of Tama Tonga and Fale leaving as well as being courted by the WWE, where Tama Tonga already lives in, by the way, not trying to brag, just trying to say, tried to book Tama Tonga before Bullet Club blew up. We were in negotiations. I think I told this story before. He was like, well, I tried to get him on the show. He goes, well, I'm about to go to Japan to do a tour for a couple months, but we'll set up something when I come back. Boom, blew up. Never heard from him again. So, you know, try to sort of steal what Brutal Bob Evans has been putting up on Facebook. Try to get booked by Beyond Ringside. 1 month later, becomes part of one of the hottest factions going in sports entertainment and pro wrestling today.
There you go.
Have you seen what Bob Evans is, you know, just a little aside here, have you seen what Brutal Bob has been putting up on his Facebook?
No, really, I don't. I don't follow him on Facebook. I do follow him on Twitter, though, but I don't really, because I've got so many people that I pay attention to, including trying to do for not only the station, but myself and for Global and some of the other projects that I'm on. I don't get a chance to read timelines.
Just if you get a chance, go look it up on Facebook. He's been, you know, putting up pictures from the past or whatever, and it's not too far past, but it's been like, it's like a picture of him and like Anderson and Gallows or something like that, and it'll be like hangs with Brutal Bob, you know, X amount of time later, you know, signed to the WWE. Like, it's just funny stuff like that, to where he's, you know, trying to, you know, say, just jokingly saying that by getting the rub for in a picture from Brutal Bob, all of these people have gone on to great things.
There you go.
Like I said, it's just funny. So Brutal Bob Evans, go look him up on Facebook. It's hilarious.
Yeah, and therein lies the funny part, because, you know, for as prolific as I am, as visible as I am on social media, not only for myself, Fast Eddie Layne or Eddie Layne, through my personal page, but I'm going to be honest with you, as far as my personal on Facebook, I've kind of backed away a lot, because for all these years, I've had FastEddieLayne.com. And I realized the fact that I'd been spending more time on freaking Facebook than I did on my own .com, and it's, to me, that's bad. And I'm guilty of what?
Bad.
What?
It's definitely bad. Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's not on the .com. Yeah, no.
Kmart sucks.
Facebook, yeah.
Facebook sucks. And Mark Zuckerberg is not giving away money.
Well, I know that.
There's some dumbasses out there who keep posting this crap. Hey, he's going to give away money if I share this post. No, he's not.
You got a better chance of winning the 1 point whatever billion Powerball than you do.
$1.3 billion.
$1 billion.
Oh, yeah, I know. That's been going around, too. I've been waiting.
Has it? I didn't even know that. Yeah, well. Well,
Yeah.
quick little question, Eddie.
Yes.
Say you're the sole winner. Do you take the lump sum, get it over with, or do you take? I think my roommate said it would end up being, after taxes for the next 30 years, $20 million a month.
I calculated $18 million a month.
The cough button. Well, let's say between 18 and 20.
No, 18
and 20
18 million a year for 30 minutes, something like that. Yeah, you're about right. It's a 29-year annuity. And what they do is they start small and build up, because the money that they invest is going to be gaining interest as it goes. And then they're going to turn around and get interest on the interest. If you take the $806 million cash option, you're going to lose half of that in taxes, federal and state, especially for a greedy-ass state like Alabama that we are currently residing in that doesn't have a lottery in any capacity. Let me finish.
Okay.
I'm going to finish this little part. That doesn't have a lottery of any kind here, other than the factor of you taking your life into your own hands when you try to do the interchange at 20 and 59 65 in Birmingham. Idiots.
Or get on 280.
Yeah, that too. That's even worse. I forgot about that. I should have said that first. It's the 280 Lotto. How many bumpers will you lose today? But yet, lo and behold, the state of Alabama will try their best to tax you if you live in Alabama and win a lottery in another state that's a sizable amount. I moved to Florida. No state income tax. Screw Alabama. I mean, I love my home state, Roll Tide. But by the same token, the politics here just kill me sometimes. But I'll sit back and say this. If I were to win this coming Wednesday night, when the next drawing occurs, I would take the $806 million cash option, which would leave me $400 right after taxes. I would take care of affairs of the family and affairs of the heart, take care of some things and take care of some friends. And then I would host a one-night party at the Birmingham Jefferson Civic Center and invite, pay Kiss to come play. My favorite band of all time, period. And immediately after they're done playing, I'm going to say, folks, to my family, I love you. To my friends, I occasionally like you. I'm leaving. Don't call me. Bye-bye. I'm in Hawaii for a month.
Why Hawaii?
The beach, the waves, the beautiful babes, and I'm all over the coconuts.
Ugh, I don't know. Hawaii's just kind of skeevy. Well, I guess I could have some, pay somebody to watch the guinea pigs for a week. I'm going to the Magic Kingdom. I'm going to Disney World.
I'm going to Disney World, but I'm going to Hawaii first.
Nah, I don't know.
Either that or I'm going back to Jamaica.
Oh, do what you gotta do.
Well, no, I've already made the statement. My father would never want for anything again in his declining years, which today is his 85th birthday.
Well, happy birthday there, Papa Lane.
I'd already go ahead. That works. You can use either naming.
I don't know. It's Eddie's dad. I don't know if you want to take it old school, like when you were a little kid. Excuse me, Mr. Eddie's dad.
There you go.
Or if you want to get racist in old school television, oh, Mr. Eddie's father.
There you go. Yeah. How many
And
letters?
if you know what that TV reference is, you're older than Eddie. You're older than Eddie Layne.
Not by much. Because you forget I turned 50 this year. I turned 50 this month.
Oh, bless your heart. My mom turned 6. I'm not going to say anything. Just in case.
There you go. You never tell a woman's age, especially not if she can find you later.
Or you gave birth to you. But to kind of bring it back around, like if I won, you can bet that Chikara would be, they'd be squeezing in a Southern stop in their 2015. And then I would actually...
You mean 2016?
No. I'm going to be like Bram. I'm going to go back in time. If you watch the Live Impact, you know what I'm talking about.
I watched most of it.
Bram came out talking about 26. He said he's going to be the wrestler of 2006. He said it twice, and then somebody go 2016, and he goes, I'm going to be the wrestler of 2016. It's like, you're an idiot, Bram. You freaking woman beater.
No,
but,
yeah, you'd be the greatest of 2015, and Chikara be coming down here last year.
Yes. I would invent a time machine to do it. But, I would definitely, bring Chikara down here. And then like I said, if I could find somebody I trusted to take care of the piggies, I would, well, I mean, it'll only be a day for a day or two, but obviously we're going to King of Trios. But I would check out, some of the places that I've, tried to champion before, on this show. Like Excellence Pro, like AIW.
Tier 1.
Like Tier 1. Just all the...
Rockstar Pro?
Companies. Huh?
Rockstar?
Rockstar, thank you. I knew I was forgetting somebody. But just all the companies that I've been like, hey, go check these out. I'd fly out for, I'd pick one of PWG's big shows, either BOLA or maybe their DDT tag tournament, something like that. I'd go check it out. So, but yeah, mine would, after, obviously, like Eddie said, I would definitely take care of my own personal issues, which, that amount of money would just barely cover.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely take care of friends and family. And then, you know what? I'm not saying I'd start my own company because I'm not trying to step on anybody's webbed feet. But maybe, just maybe, maybe once a quarter, put on a little bit of a super show and bring in people that maybe other companies, can't afford. Not saying that these other companies are poor, but, when you're bringing people from, the Northeast or from the West Coast, that costs money. Maybe that's not in their budget of some normal, or some of the local people. So, maybe, bada boom, bada bing. We do it old school at Boutwell.
Okay.
And bring it, huh?
You lead into a beautiful point.
Of course I do.
And I'm going to run with this one. I do quite a bit with Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment, Josh Wheeler and Company. And they have a live event that's going on right now as we speak. 3 of their high-profile matches and 3 of their advertised matches for today's show. Leo Rush taking on Aaron Epic. The Sicilian Psychopath, Tommaso Ciampa, taking on Do or Die Chip Day. And the whole shebang, Johnny Gargano, taking on the Georgia Crown Champion, Jimmy Rave. Now, I've got to lay this one out there, because even though Atlanta, a city of 8 million people plus, I venture to say that a city of Birmingham, not nearly that many people, would probably in Birmingham may be familiar with Aaron Epic than they are in Atlanta. Had a great time with Aaron on Wrestle Rage last week when he came on for an interview. Great interview. And when you have other individuals like Leo Rush, tremendous in-ring talent. Gargano, Ciampa, hello. 2 guys that have made their way across the country and around the world and are hopefully in that signing path right now.
You're half right from what I've heard.
Yeah.
Coming out of the latest NXT tapings at Full Sail, from what I've heard, you're half right.
Yeah. To which I'm also going to sit back and say, Chip Day, a person that I've joined that bandwagon to help get him noticed, or try to get him noticed, for the Top Prospect Tournament. The kid's got great in-ring skills. He is a good wrestler. I would love to see him make that.
I would too, but, from what I read about the Top Prospect Tournament, if you didn't pay to show up at one of their workshops, you don't stand a chance.
And that's the sad part about it.
Yeah. Which, I can kind of understand, because they can see you on hand, up close, personal, and all that stuff. Because video can be edited, you know what I'm saying?
Of course.
ROH doesn't have the feelers and the money to send somebody out to every show, or whatever, like WWE does.
Well,
so, I can kind of understand, but at the same time, there are talent, there are, people who, like fans, I kind of have issues with people who themselves, hey, I should be in the top prospect challenge. That's not for you to decide.
That's them. That's for Ring of Honor to decide.
Well, I think it's also for the fans, too. For the fans to make the suggestion for Ring of Honor to look into it.
Right.
But, so like I said, from what I heard, if you weren't one of their camps, tryouts, whatevers, and you didn't pay, because you got to pay to get into those, I'm just like, you basically, it's almost like you're paying to be paying to be in the top prospect challenge.
Pretty much, and I can see that.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the idea.
Just like, there's certain individuals who pay to be in the PWI.
Yup.
So, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, and here's the scoop, and here's one thing that I'm going to set out before I go any further on the previous topic. I also blame a ton of promotions here domestically for not doing everything they can do to get their talent noticed, to get their companies noticed. It's no secret I run social media for a couple of companies. And there are times when I don't do what I need to do as far as putting certain things out there after the show. But I'm not the only one who has access to the accounts. Other people do.
Yeah, now.
No. Have for a while.
Sorry, you're talking about something else.
Have for a while. Yeah, no, it finally dawned on me. I could have sworn that I'd made you an admin over on our Facebook fan page, and it's like, well, holy fudge nuts. No, I didn't. Okay, fine. We'll fix this right now.
Well, you kind of give a, you're talking about, other companies, other promotions, and people out there, and it's weird. It's no lie that social media has become not only the new voice for companies to get their product out, for to get it noticed, but it's also the new voice for fans. And sometimes it's a double-edged sword, but for fans to sit there and go to have their voice heard instead of phone calls or emails or whatever the heck people used to do back then, booing and cheering, buying merchandise. This is now fans can sit there and go, hey, WWE, we like this guy. Like, it really matters to them, but it's like, other companies, you can sit there and be like, oh, that looks pornographic. They can sit there and be like, hey, Ring of Honor, we like Rude Boy Riley. Really should look into this. Fit in the company. Take a look. Or, hey, somebody in the, South, look at, like you said, Leo Rush, down at AWE, which, no knock on any of the other Georgia companies, but it seems like AWE might be kind of taking a pretty strong foothold on being the top promotion.
Yes and no.
Just, for such a young company. I don't know.
For a young company, yes.
But, Doc Gallows, he's got his Wrestle America. And, they're putting on pretty good shows, too. So, but anyway, it's like I said, it's just a way for, people can use it to have their voice heard. Now, whether the people choose to hear it, it's a different story or not. But it's also, like you said, it's a good way, and more companies need to understand this is a way to get the word out about your product. You can't sit there and if you sit there and go, well, I don't know why we only drew 50 people tonight. Well, do you have a Facebook page? Do you have a website? Do you have a Twitter account? Yeah. Did you do anything to promote your event? Well, we put up a flyer. Okay, did you have any people working the event? Did you encourage them to promote it? Well, no. Okay, did you do any physical labor by putting up any, flyers or going to any local businesses, seeing if you could help promote there? Well, we went to the Rib Shack. Okay, was that all you did? Yeah. So you went to the Rib Shack, dropped off a flyer, and you posted one thing 2 months in advance for your company on your website. Didn't use your Facebook or your, Twitter until the last minute. Yeah. Okay. Well, no wonder you drew 50 people. You're lucky you drew that.
Right.
But speaking of companies that's using social media, there's a new company in Alabama on the horizon, Edward.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be Twin States Wrestling. And coming up on the other side of the break, we have my personal good friend. Okay, apparently somebody threw up. Gene Jackson. What was that?
You just used that line that you have blasted somebody else for using for.
Oh, I know, but unfortunately, this is true. I didn't just pick them up at an airport.
Okay, keep going.
Fat bastard.
Hey!
What? I sneezed.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did too. It just so happens to sound like fat bastard when I sneeze. But my good long time, well, I'd say, okay, medium time, maybe? Short time? Anyway, my good friend, Gene Jackson, will be joining us, like I said, on the other side of the break. Going to be talking about Twin States Wrestling and their show next Sunday, not Saturday, next Sunday, which I will be a part of, believe it or not.
You go, boy.
All righty, and Eddie Layne is future endeavor from Beyond Ringside for saying that. And also, he'll also be touching upon $10 wrestling that'll be coming up, plus various other things. I know Gina's connected with Eddie, help me out here, I'm blanking. Piedmont show.
Pro South.
Pro South, thank you. Sorry, guys. As you can tell, I'm still a little sick from last week, so it might be a sinus infection. But, yeah, I mean, Gene's got a lot of, like I said, irons in the fire. And, yes, like I posted on Facebook, I am pantsless as per usual. So, there you go. And by the way, anybody, you know, I know this is, you know, probably not good savvy, you know, promoting your next guest and then saying this, but for those of you who are reading anything on Facebook and you see the words "man arrested for peeing all over video games in Target," that was not me. So quit asking.
That does sound like something you do.
Well, yeah, maybe. But anyway, someone who doesn't pee all over video games in Target and who has a hell of a lot of things going on in the Alabama area with the pro wrestling.
Yes.
That would be Gene Jackson.
And tell you what, as we are going to head for the top of the hour break, folks, when we come back, Gene Jackson joins us. Right? Try to say that 3 times fast, son of a bitch. Mr. Jackson.
I know, yeah, right.
Yeah, and we'll be back in just a minute. This is Beyond Ringside Live.
This is Jim Cornette. You are locked into the show of all time, Beyond Ringside.
When planning your next party or special event, insist on the best. Full Range Entertainment is a professional entertainment company providing a full range of services. From professional disc jockeys and MCs to catering and photography, when the details of your special day must be perfect, call us first. Wedding receptions, corporate parties, school functions, birthday celebrations, and more. We also have Birmingham's largest selection of karaoke tracks available. With over 40 years combined experience, Full Range Entertainment can provide you with the talent and professionalism you need and deserve to make your next event one you'll never forget. For more information on the full range of services we offer, call 533-HITS. That's 533-HITS. Or check us out on our website at fullrangeentertainment.com.
This is Dr. Tom Pritchard, and if you want to listen to the best in professional wrestling, get locked in to Beyond Ringside.
2010, after 2 years of constant bullying, 11-year-old Ty Smalley took his own life. In the past 7 years, more than 55,000 children have taken their own lives due to bullying. That's 22 youth suicides every day. Stand for the Silent is a grassroots organization that educates people about the harsh reality of bullying and the devastation it causes, and they need your help. Visit standforthesilent.org to learn how you can get involved and help us to save lives.
I stand for the silent.
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 I'm Roddy Piper, and we stand for the silent.
Hello, everybody out there. This is Universal Soldier Phil Shatter, also TNA Gunner. 2 years in the making as NWA National Heavyweight Champion, making my way to the top as #1 in the world. And you are locked in to Beyond Ringside.
Do you like beer? Do you like business? Do you like businesses that make beer? Then you'll love this new show. It's the Beer Trail Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Price, and we're going to travel through the world of craft beer and talk to the breweries and see how they got started and what inspired them to make their beer. So check it out at thebeardtrailpodcast.com and tell your friends, and hope to see you on the trail.
This is Bambi Weeble with Masters of Ring Entertainment, and you are locked in to Beyond Ringside.
Man, do I love card night. You ready, boys? You got a king?
Go, fish dad!
Oh, come on! This is WWE superstar Titus O'Neil. The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
This is Evan Ginsberg, associate producer of the movie The Wrestler, host of Legends Radio and Legends TV, and you're locked into Beyond Ringside.
Eight minutes after the top of the 6 o'clock hour on the Central Time Zone, 8 minutes after 4 on the West Coast on this 10th day of January 2016. Welcome back into Beyond Ringside Live. Fast Eddie Layne live from Studio One. Mark MaBo Bowman, welcome back from the break.
Hey, I have an abnormally large scrotum.
Say that again?
I have an abnormally large scrotum.
Oh, jeez. Remind me never to flip headsets when he's in the middle of that return. I walked into that, so to speak.
Everything else is normal, but there's just way too much skin down there.
Okay.
Like an old Southern gentleman's neck.
Do the honors, MaBo.
You want to bring him in after talking about my scrot? Come on. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now at 6:09, here to talk about Twin States Wrestling upcoming show, Battle for the Belt 2016, and other projects he has going on. Close personal friend of mine, and no, I didn't have to pick him up from the airport. Gene Jackson, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey now, what's up? I got to say, I've been on Beyond Ringside a number of times. I've done over 100 episodes of my own podcast and numerous other podcasts, and I've done actual radio appearances and all. This is the first time I have ever had someone discuss their scrotum as a lead-in to bringing me on the show. So thanks for that first.
Oh, you're welcome.
Oh, God help me.
And I like to think I have a pretty normal scrotum myself. If we're just putting that out there tonight, you know,
if you want to talk about it, that's fine. Go ahead.
I think it's where it needs to be, but you know.
Well, I'd be more concerned if it wasn't where it needed to be, but.
On a normal and traditional, screw it. What all you been up to, brother? What's all been busy in the world of Gene Jackson lately?
Oh man, you know, the usual, just doing what the king of all wrestling media does. I'm doing shows and haven't done a podcast in a while. I need to get back on that, but you guys do a good job of that, so I figure y'all are holding that down while I'm AWOL as usual. And going and doing my thing at Pro South. People are cheering the once hated, I should say, Gene Jackson is a baby face at Pro South right now, so it's like complete bizarro world over there right now. They're cheering for me because I've been taken up for my nephew Britt Jackson, and you know, I got into the business in 1997. I've been a wrestler, I've been a manager, I've been a play-by-play announcer, color commentator. I even refereed a few times. I've done some booking. But the one thing I've never done, I've never been a promoter. And so Twin States Wrestling is something I've been kicking around in my head for a few years, and for one reason or another, it's never came together. And just recently, an opportunity fell in my lap that I couldn't pass up, and it made for the perfect storm for Twin States Wrestling to finally come to fruition, and it is going to happen next Sunday in Piedmont, Alabama, right there at the Pro South Arena. We're going to be kind of the sister promotion, if you will, or brother promotion, however you want to look at it, of Pro South Wrestling, but we are a separate entity. I think, you know, there's some confusion by a few people who think, well, this is Pro South on a Sunday. It's not. It's a completely different entity. Twin States Wrestling is its own thing.
MaBo?
No, keep going. You're doing such a great job. Go ahead.
Wait a minute, you telling
Me
me or
or
him? Yeah, no, we're both confused. Damn it, MaBo.
You're both doing a great job. Keep going. Haley, I'm using the.
Well, okay. Well, see, I was born a poor black child in Aberdeen, Michigan. No, go ahead, Eddie.
Thank you, Steve Martin. Thank you, Steve Martin. I haven't heard that line in so long. It's not even. Actually, it is quite funny, but still, by the same token. Now, I unfortunately, we talk about work schedules off air, and you're making a reference to not being able to be in certain places. I have the same affliction when it comes to, because Ace and everybody up at Pro South, they've been inviting me to come up there for moons now. And unfortunately, I work 2 jobs on Fridays, which means I'd have a hard enough time getting 1 job covered, much less 2. But now, chaos is the operative phrase going into the new year with Pro South. Before we go straight on full scale into Twin States and what all's going on with them, as Pro South moves into 2016, what has been probably for you, and you don't have to leave it at Pro South, the more memorable moments coming out of 2015?
Well, I was kind of in and out in Pro South the last few months of 2015. For me personally, my feud with Big Toon, a guy I know you guys are familiar with from Pro South. I kind of poked the bear a few too many times there, and I ended up in a cage match 1-on-1 with Big Toon, and that didn't turn out too well for me. I had some legitimately broken ribs, punctured lung, and so from about August until October, Gene Jackson was not seen from, so I didn't get to take part in a lot of action over there at Pro South. But like everybody else, I read about it on the internet, and it's wild over there. There's always it's unpredictable. You never know what's going to happen at Pro South, and right now you've got Gene Jackson's a good guy. Damian Seratone's a good guy. But people hate Tyler Gage. He's a bad guy. I mean, it's like I say, it's kind of like Bizarro world over there right now when you look at who's good and who's bad and what all's gone on in the past few months. And then as far as, my world of promotions I've been involved with, New South has taken Alabama wrestling by storm here in 2015. Their debut show did really well. They had Moose on the card and the Rock and Roll Express, and they had a huge crowd, and they came back and followed that up with Rhino. And of course, what better guy could you have found to be on an indie show in Alabama right then? He was in NXT, and soon after he popped up on Raw and did a pay-per-view and had an incredible match with Christian Haim, and Christian Haim really showed what he was made of, hanging with a star the level of Rhino. And so they're making a lot of noise, and they've got some shows coming up, which I'm sure we'll talk about here in a little bit. And with all that going on, man, and then of course, you guys are more involved with global championship wrestling than I am, but I see Mad Dog Dan Sawyer and some of those guys over there at Pro South, and they're all a bunch of great guys, and I know they got some really good stuff going on in GCW. So the wrestling scene in Alabama right now is probably the best it's been in any time I can remember in recent years.
I was about to say, do you think that the state of Alabama is actually a little bit underrated, especially over the last couple of years?
I think it is, man. I think at one time, I know a few years back, and it was warranted. People looked down on wrestling in Alabama, and it had a very bad reputation. And believe me, there were some horrible shows going on in Alabama, and there still are a few. And I'm not going to be the guy to call them out, name them by name. But there are some shows that are kind of embarrassing, and the whole state kind of got lumped in with that image. But now, man, it's like I say, if you go to a New South show or a Pro South show, there's a lot of Souths. I just realized that. But you go to New South, Pro South, Global, and then Twin States this next Sunday, and I don't know who am I leaving out. I know there's maybe a couple other shows going on in Alabama as well. That's just the ones that I have direct knowledge of. But
well, there was another company, Southern Legacy, was trying to start up in the Shoals area.
Yeah, and I seen a poster last night, as a matter of fact, that they're going to be running a show here in Albertville, like 2 miles from my house at the middle school. And I've seen they're going to have Crimson and a few guys on there. So I guess they're still around, and they had a pretty good first show from what I hear. I know Jack Lord's involved in that, and Jack's a good guy, and he's been around Alabama wrestling forever and a frequent guest on Beyond Ringside. So you know all about Jack and what he brings to the table. So yeah, man, it's a good time to be involved in wrestling in Alabama, and I think what you said is very true. I think wrestling is very underrated in Alabama, and I think we get overlooked for just how many talented people are competing these days.
MaBo, come on in.
All right. Well, I kind of want to bring it down to two. Bring it back around. Let's first off with Twin States, because for those who don't know about the upcoming show, you came to me and asked if I would host the event, and I am forever grateful for that. Thank you very much. Hopefully, I will do you proud. And
hey, thank you for agreeing to do it. I'm excited.
Well, and hopefully, I'll also do my mentor, Bobby Heenan, proud.
Sure, you will.
Eddie thought I was going to say him.
No, I didn't.
Well, Eddie knew you weren't going to make him proud, so.
Yeah, it is true. Eddie's like, he shakes his head whenever I even post something. He's just like,
no, Eddie's sitting over. Eddie's sitting over here going, I know he's not going to say my name. I know he's going to turn around and make it a rib or a poke or a jab or something like that. And of course, as always, MaBo, you never disappoint.
I never disappoint, except the ladies. But
that's what she said.
Before we get to the actual card, though, just like I said, you're promoting the show and everything. How did you go about choosing the participants that are in the tournament?
Well, one of the things that I wanted to do, Pro South has a great show, and they're there every Friday night, and they've been there for years. And my first thing I said when I sat down and started looking to book Twin States is I don't want this to just be a Pro South show on a Sunday, because all those are great guys, and I could book everybody on their roster and have a great show, but it would be an injustice to Pro South for me to just come in and do a Pro South show, and by the same token, it wouldn't do me any good to have another Pro South show on a different day of the week. So I knew I wanted to have a couple of guys on the card, but I wanted to book something different, and I wanted to bring in some people who maybe haven't ever been seen at Pro South or in Piedmont, or at the very least haven't been seen in quite some time, and that wrestle a bit of a different style from what the fans are used to there in Piedmont. And I handpicked each guy and put each match together with a particular reason in mind for each one. And I'm very proud of the card. I'm very proud of the guys that I've got booked on it, and I have 100% faith in each and every one of them that they can come and do a show that's going to make Twin States stand out and be successful right out of the gate. And there's not a filler match on the card. There's not a guy that I just put there because somebody else couldn't be gotten. They're all there because that's who I wanted there, and I'm very excited about it.
Well, that's good, because I was sitting there, going down the list of who's in the tournament, and I was just kind of, it's like, well, I wonder for what reason, and that they were chosen, and that's all valid reasons and great points. Now I've actually, had a couple people contact me, ask me about, what is this, what is this Twin States? Is this something new and all that? Have you gotten any feedback, any positive feedback about what's going on?
I have. I've gotten quite a bit of feedback. It's funny. Ace Haven told me the other day. He said, you're running a show. You're running your very first show in our building. He goes, but yet I'm getting messages on Facebook. He's like, me and Donnie both are getting messages on Facebook and posts on our Facebook going, oh, congratulations for being chosen for the Twin States tournament. Like they got signed by Vince or something. Like you're getting congratulated for being on the show in your own building. But he had told me, he said, so congratulations. He's like, it has a lot of hype to it, and a lot of, this aura of being a big deal. He's like, I don't really know how you've created that, but it does. He's like, everybody I've talked to, feels like it's a big thing coming to town. It's a big deal. So I'm happy about that. And, man, like, the biggest surprise is, you know, I booked the show, and I had the card booked pretty quick. Like, by the time I talked to you, I had just about all the wrestlers already booked. And, you know, I started getting messages to the Twin States Facebook from people wanting to get bookings, and it was shocking to me, like, to be a small show in Piedmont, Alabama that's never ran a show before. Some of the people who have contacted me, I've had like 2 different TNA guys contact me wanting to be on the show. I had a guy from Maryland contact me wanting to be on the show. Just crazy how, like, the people who have sought out a booking, you know, in Alabama on a show that has never had a show yet. It's kind of odd. So, you know, the time will tell Sunday as far as what kind of crowd shows up. But as far as feedback I'm getting on it, I'm very pleased with it. I'm hoping that will translate into tickets sold come Sunday.
Well, you know, I have no doubt. Excuse me. I have no doubt that, you know, it's I got a feeling you guys are going to have a packed house. That's for sure. Now, do you have the card in front of you?
I do. It's actually I'm sitting in my wrestling room, as I call it, where I have all my wrestling memorabilia and dolls and posters and all that. And I actually have the Twin States poster hanging on the wall, because you got to have the poster for your first show in your wrestling room, right? So, yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah. I was going to say, anybody who follows on Facebook knows what your wrestling room looks like.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it's getting new stuff all the time. So this is the newest edition, is this Twin States poster it's hanging over, which I went around hanging a bunch of others today as well. But yeah, if you want, we can kind of run down the card real quick and kind of give you my thoughts and ask for y'all's thoughts. So the first match, the first round, we've got the Dream Killer, Eric Wayne, who's a third-generation star from over in Memphis. Of course, his father, Nightmare Ken Wayne, of the famous Nightmares in Memphis, Continental, and across the world. His grandfather, Buddy Wayne, who just passed away this past week, as a matter of fact. And Buddy was a great wrestler and a great promoter. And Eric has followed in their footsteps. And Eric is a hell of a wrestler. He travels all over the place. He just recently did a tour in Puerto Rico and started freaking riots down there.
That's a beautiful thing.
Eric's a hell of a guy, man, and he's very opinionated, and he's not afraid to tell you what he thinks in and out of the ring. And I'm excited to have him as a part of this tournament. And he's going to be taking on Jeremy Flint. And I know you guys know Jeremy Flint. I love Jeremy Flint. He's a friend of mine. But I'm a fan of his too. I mean, I like Jeremy, whether he's just wrestling as Jeremy Flint or he's doing some crazy character for Kevin Brennan. He puts 100% of himself into these things, man. Like, you see people do characters and gimmicks and they're kind of half-hearted or whatever. If you see Jeremy, whether he's just plain old Jeremy Flint having a match or he's supposed to be a friggin' pedophile or whatever the hell Kevin's got him doing this week. He's all in, man. He's all in and he plays it to the hilt. And he's a hell of a wrestler. I think people will get sidetracked by the fact that he does all these characters and gimmicks, and he's very good at comedy wrestling. He's a funny guy in and out of the ring, but he's a good wrestler. Very talented guy. He's very good at strong style wrestling. I think him and Eric Wayne are going to have a hard hitting match. And it's gonna be a contest because both these guys want that title. Eric, you know, with his grandfather passing away this week, he told me that he was going to dedicate this tournament to his grandfather, Buddy Wayne. So he's not going to be looking to lose, you know. So what do you guys take? I don't know how familiar. I know y'all know Jeremy. I don't know if you're familiar with Eric or not. But what's your take on that match?
MaBo, go ahead.
Well, I'm just wondering if after taking a vicious donkey kick from his donkey basketball game this past weekend, if Jeremy Flint, you know, we all know he can survive a donkey punch, but can he survive a donkey kick? So I don't know.
Well, you'll have to call the hotline to find out. 1-900-909.
9900. Yeah. $2.99 for the first minute, $3.99 for each additional minute.
Exactly. Twin States hotline. We're getting that going right now.
Oh God, can we please? Can we please? But I'm gonna say, you know what? Not to play personal favorites, but I'm gonna go Jeremy Flynn.
Okay.
Eddie?
I'm right here, and I've actually had a chance to work with Eric Wayne. I've also had a chance to see him through other medium as well, DVD as well as video on demand, YouTube, all of the above. Had a chance to sit down and do an interview with him a couple of years back, if my memory serves me correctly, on as he was working on something called Wrestle or Die. He was making his way across the country, trying to work with a number of different shows. Always great interview, great opportunity to sit down and talk with him. And I think this will be a very valid contrast in styles between the two.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and in this particular circumstance, I'm going to sit back and say, because of the way that Eric approaches the industry, which is similar yet a little bit opposite from the approach that Jeremy takes it, this is actually going to end up being a pick'em in my book. This is going to be, I'm just going to go ahead and say it like this. Based on what I know of both gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and use these two words, folks. Don't blink. And I ain't talking about a Kenny Chesney song. If I was, it'd be called Summertime. I just don't have a Yoo-hoo ball rolling around on the floorboard. But because Eric Wayne and Jeremy Flint have great skill sets, great move sets, and I really hate to generalize by utilizing those two terms, but they also have a great heart for the business. And you've had a chance to see Jeremy, especially around the southeastern U.S. You've had a chance to see Eric across the country in different cities. And this is going to be a good opportunity for both of them. And like I said, I would be very, very, very shy about trying to pick a winner in this circumstance, because this is one where I'll sit back and say, for everybody who thinks they have the ultimate clue in life, it's like, well, they're going to get 8 minutes, they're going to get 9 minutes. Look, it doesn't matter if they go 8 minutes, 18 minutes, or 48 minutes. They can go the distance, period. This is why I'm going to sit back and say they will find new ways to keep your attention throughout this match. And you will have fun, start to finish. I'm calling this one the Don't Blink match of the card based on the information that I have on both of these guys.
There you go.
And I'm still not
I agree.
picking a winner.
That's one I'm very much looking forward to.
Let's keep this thing going. Once again, next.
All right.
Let's see. January 17th, Piedmont, Alabama. Battle for the belt from Twin States Wrestling. Next up on the agenda.
Next first round match, we've got Neil the Real Deal Taylor with his manager, Mr. Sensational. Now, I don't know, a lot of people over here are not going to be familiar with Neil. Neil has been on the indie scene around Mississippi and Tennessee and Arkansas since 1999. He's been on Memphis TV up there. He's wrestled Jerry Lawler probably a dozen times.
Yep.
He's had feuds with Bill Dundee and Brickhouse Brown and Doug Gilbert, and you name it. You run the gauntlet of Memphis wrestling stars, and Neil has feuded with all of them. So he's a veteran, and he's always wanted to kind of break out over here in Alabama, and he's done some shows over here and there. And he's done a couple matches at Pro South, but just not a significant amount of wrestling over here. And he's excited to be in this tournament, and he's a guy who feels like he has something to prove, and winning this Twin States title against the people that are in it would go a long way towards making Neil's reputation here in Alabama. And his opponent is a Pro South star. He's the current Pro South All-Out champion. He's Donnie Primetime. And Donnie is still relatively new to the business. He's still somewhat of a rookie, but he's been around going on 2 years. Right. He's a two-time Pro South Tag Team champion, and like I said, he's currently the All-Out champion. He's been going to Peach State Wrestling, which I know you guys are familiar with over there in Georgia.
Yeah, I do.
He did an EC3 seminar, and EC3 picked him out as the star of the seminar and chose him to be in a match, and kind of made him his protege, which caused Donnie to start calling himself DP3, the protege of EC3, and he's made that work for him very well. And he has something to prove here, because he's a guy who a lot of people have kind of questioned, hey, you got this tournament, and you got almost everybody in this tournament is an established guy, they're a veteran, and does Donnie Primetime really have any business being in this tournament competing for this title? So he feels like he has a lot to prove, and he has a chance to quiet some critics and to go in against a veteran like Neil Taylor right here in the first round. If he can get the win on him, it'll kind of show that he deserves to be there and can move forward and hopefully make it to the end and win that title.
MaBo, come on in. Your thoughts?
I'm going to have to say, I was fortunate enough to, Eddie, help me out here, 2 weeks back at Global. Was it 2 weeks back?
Season's beatings, yeah.
Donnie Primetime was actually on the show, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And you know, like I said, you know, not bad at all. Not bad at all. You know, definitely have to do some more homework on him, but I'm gonna have to go with Taylor. You know, as far as picks goes,
right.
Just as far as, you know, just that veteran edge. I mean, you could sit there and be the protege to EC3, get picked out by EC3, but it's that veteran edge. You know, I'm sure, you know, that Taylor has probably forgotten more about pro wrestling than Donnie Primetime has learned so far, just, you know, in his short career.
That's true.
Now, I'm at a little bit of a disadvantage. I know a little bit about Taylor, not as much as I should going into the circumstance. I haven't had a chance to really do that much homework on him. DP3, for me, plain and simple. Whether it was in the outing 2 weeks ago at Global Warfare or the factor of the tag team match that he has as part of the feature attraction where they took on hashtag trending now, Haven and Xanders. And as a singles competitor, he has learned so much. And I have a feeling that 2016 is going to be a breakout year for DP3, Donnie Primetime III. You know, you make the reference to the factor of getting the label of the protege of EC3. And based on conversations I've had with him, Donnie has accepted that and has turned that into a motivator to continue to push himself to become even better. And I've watched him in ring in singles and tags. And the kid has got a good, strong base, and he continues to build on that. Like I said, how Taylor is going to deal with somebody of that ilk is a really good question, because when you've been facing off against individuals, like you said, Lawler, Dundee, Brickhouse, all of those up in the Memphis area, as well as some of the stars of Arkansas, as well as NWA and over in Mississippi, you have a tendency, you may have a tendency to go into this type of a match and not really know Donnie Primetime and underestimate him. And if there's any circumstance that Donnie right now can excel at, is shocking someone. So that's going to be a good match to watch. Gene?
I think you nailed it there, Eddie. That's I think that's Neil's only thing is he's got to understand who he's going against and not underestimate Donnie and not be like, hey, this is some kid, you know, he's only been in the ring a couple of years, and underestimate him, because if that happens, Donnie, we've seen it at Pro South, we've seen it in Global, Peak State. Donnie can pull one out at any given time, but also at the same time, Neil Taylor he ain't above pulling a chain, he ain't above pulling any of those old Memphis tricks that he learned direct from the masters to get the win. So that one's going to be an interesting one to watch, to see who's going to be able to pull off the victory, because both guys are hungry for different reasons. Now, our next match, this one's really interesting, and I know one guy in the match is really, really, really excited about it and is looking to use this to further make a name for himself in Piedmont and outside of Piedmont. The next match we got is Pro South's own last hero, Ace Haven. Of course, he's going to have Amy Haven in his corner, and he's going to be taking on New Japan Pro Wrestling superstar and a member of the famous Bullet Club, yes, that Bullet Club, Chase Owens, is taking part in this tournament, and he's going to be competing with Ace Haven. And this one's going to be interesting, because I think the crowd's going to be kind of, you know, there's going to be people who are going to show up. You know, when they had AJ Styles there, 70% of the crowd was wearing Bullet Club shirts. So the Bullet Club fans come out of the woodwork for these guys, and I think a lot of people may be pulling for Chase Owens, which may kind of throw Ace Haven in Piedmont. It's not something he's used to. However, I do think the Pro South faithful will show up to support Ace Haven, and man, I've watched Ace wrestle Jimmy Rave, Kyle Matthews. I watched him wrestle for the NWA World Title against Adam Pearce. He has had some huge matches in Piedmont, including that one with Kyle at the Chikara show. And I think this is really going to be one of his biggest ones, because he feels like if he can go in there in the first round of this tournament and knock off a guy who right now is a world-renowned star like Chase Owens, guys, what would that do for Ace Haven star power in the South and beyond?
MaBo, take lead.
Oh, I'm gonna have to say Chase Owens. I'm gonna have to say Chase Owens. But it's gonna be that's gonna be the match. In my personal opinion, as far as first round matches in the tournament, I'm gonna say that's going to be the match that's gonna have everybody on the edge of the seat, on the edge of their seats.
Now, as far as it goes with Chase Owens, you also have to remember that this man has been a world-renowned cruiserweight, light heavyweight, junior heavyweight, whatever you want to call him, former world junior heavyweight champion. Now, you don't get into the Bullet Club by accident. You don't get that invitation or that acceptance into the Bullet Club by accident. You have to have the credentials. You have to have the skill set. Now, having said that, I'm going to turn the table. You have someone that, over the last 2 years in particular, has worked to become a star. And I'm talking about Ace Haven, the last hero, along, of course, with the lovely Amy Haven. Ace has been universally recognized by his peers as not only a breakout, but also one of the most improved and also one of the most solid stars in the realm of Southern wrestling right now. And I hate to put that pigeonhole of the word Southern on there, but Ace has stayed primarily in the southeastern U.S.
Mm-hmm.
But he has made so many strides about getting out and away from Piedmont and working with other companies. He's worked with Global. I've worked with him there. I've worked with him on Peach State. And it's a pleasure to be able to call Ace's matches. Haven't had a chance to call one for Chase yet. We're working on that concept, though. I've also got to throw this one out there. Considering the factor, and I'm going to ask this question open unilaterally, are both of these individuals going to be at 100% going into Sunday, January 17th in Piedmont? Ace may have home field advantage, but as we saw today with the Minnesota Vikings, that only carries so far. It really does. True. Russell Wilson managed to fluke it all over again. How dare him. Now, because I know for a fact that Chase Owens is going to be taking on Facade on Saturday, January the 16th at the Kingsport Civic Auditorium for Smoky Mountain Wrestling. I also know that Ace is going to be in tag team action along with his tag team partner, Charles Zanders, in #trending now. Amy, of course, escorting him to ringside the night before, Saturday, January 16th, in Carrollton, Georgia, at Tag Team Turmoil in a one-night tournament to determine new Peach State Wrestling Alliance tag team champions. So
that's true.
Yeah. So both of these gentlemen have got a hard road to hoe in front of them. Or you could say road to hoe. It doesn't matter how you want to phrase it. Plow the road. There you go. But that's where I'm going to sit back and say, that's going to be a question mark. Both men have the heart. Both men have the determination. Both men have the skill. But going into the 17th, knowing the fact that they're both wrestling loaded cards the night before, which one will be smart enough and intuitive enough to take the right advantage at the right time? Gene?
That's true, because potentially if Ace and Zanders were to win that tournament, you're talking what? At least 3 matches the night before?
Yeah, and I'm going to...
That's that. Hold on, I don't mean to cut you off. But that's actually what I was thinking was, if they do advance in the tournament, where Chase has the one match so far that we know of.
Right.
Ace, like, has a potential, like you say, 3 matches ahead of him. And so, that is a key factor. So that's another reason why I would say Chase Owens.
Because remember, like I said, even though there is a possibility that Ace will be going through 3 matches on Saturday the 16th at Peach State, Saturday the 16th at Kingsport for Smoky Mountain, Chase, like I said, and he's going to have his hands full with the Neon Ninja. I've watched Facade. I've watched Owens. Look, for our friends in the Volunteer State, find a way to get to Kingsport, Tennessee. Find a way to get to the Kingsport Civic Auditorium Saturday night on the 16th. Unless you're down closer to Georgia, then pop down to Carrollton and say hi at Peach State.
There you go. Now, just to add to that a minute, and kind of touch on, I guess, something maybe you kind of briefly touched on there. You guys know, I remember listening to old episodes of Beyond Ringside, years ago. You guys know what perception of Ace Haven was at one time.
Yes.
Within locker rooms and with fans and everybody.
Yes.
Eddie, you in particular, do you know anybody else in the business, at least in our neck of the woods, who has done more to change people's perception and to completely turn around everyone's attitude towards them than Ace Haven? Somebody who has just busted his ass and just slowly but surely changed everyone's perception of who he is and what he is to this business.
He has probably done the best job. I know a couple that have tried and fallen short. I know a couple that have tried and succeeded. Ace has, because I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I'm going to sit back and say, there were a lot of question marks about Ace Haven. And I've spoke to him on air. I've spoke to him a lot off air. And we've had some great conversations. And just the mindset that he has adopted over the last, I'd say, year and a half. He has really turned it around and come on strong. And I will put it to this way, folks. He has busted his ass to earn respect in the world of pro wrestling. Period.
Exactly.
Exclamation point.
I just wanted to throw that out there because rarely have I ever been on the show in the role of babyface Gene Jackson. Normally, I'm on here to trash Ace Haven because I got a match coming up.
Right.
But in all honesty, man, like there has been things that have happened. The setbacks he's had and things that's gone on that most guys would just walk away and leave the business. And the guy has just forged ahead and like you said, busted his ass. And I don't think anybody can take away from him what he's accomplished in these past few years. And I'm excited for him to be in this tournament. I'm excited to see him across the ring from Chase Owens. But I know in his mind, it's going to be a little intimidating because guys like him who are of the cruiserweight size and he come into the business looking up to a guy like Jushin Thunder Liger, and to think that just a couple of months ago Chase Owens is in Tokyo, Japan, wrestling Jushin Thunder Liger and beating Jushin Thunder Liger for the NWA World Junior Heavyweight title. He's in there giving him a package pile driver. Has got to be a little unnerving.
Very true. It's got to be. I mean, and Ace Haven, of course, is someone who in recent days took on former NWA World Heavyweight Champion Scrap Iron Adam Pearce. So he's had an
opportunity.
Yeah. And so that no matter what happens in that, you have to look at that as big match experience.
Well, that's another one, like you said, that's another one. I think MaBo nailed it. There's going to be fans on the edge of their seats. There's going to be wrestlers in the dressing room on the edge of their seats watching that one. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well,
now, the final match of the first round. Now, you want to talk about hard-hitting matches. You want to talk about strong-style matches, smash mouth, two guys that are going to go in there and just beat the hell out of one another, hoping to get by to the next round. We're talking about Jeremiah Plunkett, the king of Southern Strong Style. The man, he holds titles all over the place. He was the NWA Australia champion that he won in a tour of Australia. He wrestled, we're talking about wrestling NWA World Champions. He wrestled NWA World Champion Oh my gosh, I just blanked out. The Japanese wrestler who held the world title, he wrestled in Nashville last year. I can't believe I just.
Kagas?
Who?
Kagas?
No. This is a real Japanese guy.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, my bad. We edit that out. No, good night. I can't believe I can't think of this guy's name. He's a famous Japanese guy. But anyway, I'll look it up and put it online. The match is on the Twin States Facebook, so you can go there and look at it. It was a big deal when it happened, and Jeremiah made a good showing for himself. And he's going to be taking on the strong style psycho Tank. And Tank is one of the baddest dudes in the business. And what I love about Tank, what I respect about Tank is, an example of it is back at the Carnage Cup, the IBA Deep South Carnage Cup.
Kojima
on
or
Friday night.
Gene.
Yes.
Kojima or Tenzan?
I
think it was
Kojima. That's it.
Okay, because he had it back in 2014. Tenzan had it early 2015. Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
I feel like a real a-hole for not spouting that off right off the bat. But
life happens.
Thank you for looking that up.
No problem. Life happens.
Yes. Jeremiah Plunkett had a tremendous match against Kojima, which is on YouTube and it's on the Twin States page. But no, what I was going to say about Tank is, Tank at the Carnage Cup, he went in on Friday night and had a death match against Corporal Robinson. And these guys, weapons and barbed wire and the whole 9 yards, and these guys just beat the living tar out of each other. But then the next day, he wrestled Corey Hollis in a tremendous wrestling match. No chairs, no bats, no barbed wire, just a wrestling match, and had a hell of a match with Corey Hollis, who, God knows what all Corey Hollis is doing these days. He's all over the place.
Right.
But him and Tank had a great match, and man, I think him and Jeremiah Plunkett. We've said, you said Eric Wayne and Jeremy Flint's going to be the Don't Blink match, and then Donnie Primetime and Neil the Real Deal Taylor. It'll be the one where maybe there's going to be an upset, or maybe the veteran's going to pull through, and then we've got everybody on the edge of their seat for Ace Haven and Chase Owens. But I think Jeremiah Plunkett and Tank's going to be the sleeper match that people are going to think, it'll be a pretty good match. And I think it's going to surprise people just how rough and tough and the kind of wrestling that's going to go on in this match. I think this one will be the one that people just aren't expecting, just how great of a match this is going to be.
I'll agree wholeheartedly, MaBo.
Oh, no doubt. I'm a big proponent of Tank's, been for a number of years, and I actually watched the Kojima match that you're talking about with Plunkett. So I very rarely do I sit there and go, I'm glad I'm not calling this match. But I guess I'd be glad. Say, I'm glad I'm not calling this match, so I can sit there and just focus and just take it in for what it's worth, because it's gonna be brutal. That's for sure.
Slugfest is probably a great word to use right about there.
Yep.
Because you got two individuals that will lay it all out there. Now, I'm not going to try to wing this. I'm not going to try to overemphasize anything. I'm going to sit back and say, folks, there is a possibility you may have a body in your lap if you're sitting on the third row the way these guys go. And I will sit back and say this. When you have two pro wrestlers that are fighting and they are headed in your direction, don't be a dumbass. Don't be a hero. Move!
No. I say, whip out your camera phone and start taking pictures, because send them in, because I think it's going to be very interesting.
From a safe distance.
Yeah, no, don't move. Stand right there. Take as many pictures as you like.
You just love seeing what happens. You just love to see
Thanks,
the idea.
MaBo.
MaBo just upped your liability insurance.
Yeah, I appreciate that, buddy.
We're going to flash back to the very first ever ECW at the Boutwell Auditorium in Birmingham, Alabama.
Yup.
Where I was on the corner of the guardrail, front row, looking down, checking my camera. Not cell phone, kids. There was these things called cameras before cell phones. And when I looked up, Sabu whipped the one-man gang into the guardrail, right into my lap.
Oh.
So.
And that's when you did your impression of the abominable snowman from the Bugs Bunny cartoons. And I will hug him, and I will pet him, and squeeze him, and I will stroke his pretty feathers.
No, actually, the first thing I thought was, dear God, not my mom's camera. Because I am more scared of my mom than I am of the one-man gang and Sabu at the same time. So,
nice.
From that point on in my life, I sat there and I was like, anytime I can encourage somebody to be stupid enough to be in the way of a wrestler coming straight at them while taking a picture, I will do it.
Of course you will. Question, ticket prices and availability, Gene.
Tickets are going to be $10 at the door, but they are available in advance for $8 online. You can go to facebook.com/Twin States Wrestling, or you can go to localstolegends.com, and you can find a link that will take you to where you can purchase those tickets online. Or you, like I say, you can come right up and buy them at the door for $10 the day of the show. We're going to be kicking things off at 2:30 p.m. The doors will open at 1:30, but the bell time will be 2:30.
Cool.
Seats are $10, but you're only going to need the edge.
There you go. That's a classic line, but it's true.
MaBo, your balls haven't dropped far enough to where you can actually get away with using that line.
Hey, leave me alone. But, you know, we like I said, we've been going over Twin States. We all know you're part of that. But you have some other ventures coming up, correct?
I do.
Now, I heard let me set it up.
Go ahead.
Now, I heard that you and billionaire Kev are going to be headed to $10 Wrestling to take it over for Saturday Night Nitro.
Yeah, well, let me correct you. It's not $10 wrestling. It's $10 wrestling, which is a term that I typically refuse to say. I've always had a huge problem with people saying wrestling instead of wrestling, but that's the actual name of it. So I was told to make sure that whenever I'm promoting it, to make sure I say $10 wrestling. So yes, $10 wrestling Saturday Nitro is going to be evading Weauguska, Alabama. I think that's how you say that, Weauguska. Close enough.
Close enough.
And yeah, it's gonna be something like you've never seen. Let me put it like that.
Yeah, now me personally, you know, I've looked over the card, and you know, I'll see who's coming in and all that. And I said, look, it's definitely going to be a card that you won't see anywhere else. But
what you looked over the card? Now, what are you most excited about for $10 wrestling? What are you most excited about?
I'm excited about Dick.
I see. I knew you were going to say that because I had heard that you were a huge fan of Dick, and that when you heard Dick was coming, you were definitely going to be there.
Oh, dude! Anytime Dick is coming, you can expect me to be there, because I have never enjoyed Dick as much in my life as this, you know, past few years when I discovered Dick. I mean, I didn't discover Dick; Dick was already there, but
yeah,
I stumbled upon Dick, and my life has never been the same since. I've accepted Dick, and you know, what can I say? I'm a proponent of Dick.
Well, Dick's going to be there, and he is going to be all in your face. I can guarantee you that.
Oh, I'm hoping Dick's in my face, but you know, and he just got a movie that just came out, Super Cop Big Justice Part 1. Which Eddie, Gene, have you had a chance to watch it?
I'm ashamed to say I haven't as of yet. I need to check that out. I do need to check that out.
No, I have not seen Dick on the big screen.
No, it's not on the big screen. This time, you know, much like, you know, just the internet today, you can see Dick on your personal computer or your, you know, iPhone or, you know, tablet, or if you know, connect it to your gaming system to your TV or your smart TV, you can see Dick. So I encourage check out Super Cop Dick Justice Part 1. But I mean, to me, that's really I always like to say when I go to a card, I'm going for the whole card, but
yeah,
Dick Justice is.
I'm about to say, because I've never known you to go for the whole. I've always figured you were a bigger fan of Dick than you were the whole card.
Oh, I mean, well, normally I like the whole, but just the sum of Dick is really what's bringing me to the show, and that's no knock on, because I would never knock Dick, or knock the whole card, but I love Dick, so.
But there's more to the card than Dick, though.
And folks, for those who do not know what the hell they've been actually, I jumped in at the last minute because I knew what they were talking about from the get-go. I just wanted to see how far they would go. And he kind of gave it away when he said about the video. And yes, they're talking about professional wrestling star, Super Cop, Dick Justice. Thanks for playing.
Yes, and I encourage you guys, go YouTube Dick Justice, Super Cop Dick Justice, just in case you stumble across any other kind of Dick Justice you don't want to see.
Yeah.
Or just a dick that you don't want to see.
Yeah, well, I see those every
Oh,
day.
MaBo's never seen one of those.
Oh, I
100 maybe, but not
one.
one. He's seen 10, but not one.
Yeah, like a circus heel. But definitely check out, and I encourage you guys, go to his Facebook page, check it out on YouTube. I can't remember the company that put out it's a little 8-minute movie, but there's some cameos from some of Dick Justice's wrestling friends that show up in there. Heidi Lovelace and Gregory Iron are in there, so check it out. But overall, I definitely I'm going to see Dick Justice, but we'll enjoy the whole card. I will enjoy the whole over Dick sometimes, but $10 wrestling aside, there, Gene, you're also affiliated with New South. You had mentioned them before. Now, unfortunately, you said you're not going to be able to make the Fayetteville, Tennessee show, Alpha Flight, on March 11th at 7:30 p.m. But you will be at the New South Presents We Love Wrestling, We Love Pro Wrestling at the Hartsville Civic Center on March 12th, correct?
I certainly will, and I hate I can't be in Fayetteville. I know that one's going to be a great show as well, but yeah, coming back to Hartsville, like I say, we've had 2 great shows in Hartsville, large crowds. Managed Jeremy Flint on the first show as he took on Nick Tramer, and then on the second show, I managed Jeremy Flint and the Alabama wrestling legend himself, Wild Thing Will Owens. And they teamed with another guy whose name escapes me, who was a last-minute replacement. And that's why I don't remember his name. But yeah, we've had our differences with Dump Sanders and Nick Tramer and Big Spade and some of those guys. And I have a feeling in Hartsville we'll be looking for revenge for some of the wrongdoings against the Jackson faction, as we're called.
Well, I mean, that's definitely, I tried to make it out to the last New South show. Unfortunately, wasn't able to make it. But, everybody can tell you right now, if you can't get enough of the king of all wrestling media, Gene Jackson, well, shame on you, because you've got next weekend, next Sunday in Piedmont at the Pro South Arena. He will be there for Twin States Wrestling. Then in February, $10 wrestling, and we go to Alabama.
Really?
Then,
What's that? What's that?
I thought it was. We go first.
Really?
Am I mispronouncing that?
I would assume yes. Thank you for making me actually have to work in post-production. You and your twin in the 8 o'clock show.
Oh, you gonna get stabbed now. And then in March in Hartsville, you will get to see Gene for New South. Gene, anything else you want to plug real quick? I know you got a podcast, a website, anything else?
Yeah, you can go to localstolegends.com. It's got all the old episodes of the podcast, and it's got a link to my Cheap Heat TV YouTube page, which has got a lot of goofy interviews and old wrestling matches and things of that nature. And plus, it's got a link to Twin States Wrestling. And Twin States we're looking to be in Piedmont every other month, so we'll be returning in March after this show, and have some more big things coming. And make sure I'm not there every week, but make sure you go to Pro South Wrestling every Friday night. They're on Southern Avenue in Piedmont at the Pro South Arena. Always a great card, and of course they got the big Valentine's Day Massacre, which is always a big show coming up in February. So make sure you support Pro South, and then go to all these other shows to see the king of all wrestling media, because who can get enough of Gene Jackson, right? And I made a phone call earlier this afternoon. I tried to get Memphis Monroe to come to the Battle for the Belt show in Piedmont next Sunday, but he told me he's not booked, so he's not coming. So them old school guys.
I was hoping he was going to be there. I was going to ask you about him. I know he's got a birthday coming up too, so.
Yeah, he's not booked, so he's just going to keep jumping on the trampoline until somebody puts him on the card. So I don't know, maybe in March. Maybe I can find a match for him. I don't know, but yeah, he seemed a little bummed out about it, and he said, if you don't have me booked, they don't invite me on shows like Beyond Ringside, and he said he had a great time the last time he was on. So yeah, well maybe we can get him to something, right?
Well, maybe we can get him to referee him. We can get him to referee the main event, maybe.
Maybe so. I don't know. Maybe he'll find his way to $10 wrestling one of these days, and he can go in there and see how he hangs with Dick.
Well, not everybody can hang with Dick, but Gene,
he's hard to beat.
Oh, it's hard to beat Dick, that's for sure. But Gene, thank you so much for joining us, taking time out of your night. I know your good lady's watching some Inuashi or whatever that's pronounced. I know she's watching that. So while you do this, you tell Rose.
Yeah, she appreciates y'all. She appreciates y'all tying me up for a little while so she can watch that stuff. Because as soon as I get out of here, I make her go back to watching The Sopranos. So.
Well, definitely tell Rose I said hello. And
will do, man. We'll see you next week. And thank y'all for having me, man. Thanks for taking time out to talk about our little show over there in Piedmont, and thank you for hosting it. And Eddie, you'll have to find your way over there one of these days, man.
It will very well happen. You got a deal on that one.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, the king of all wrestling media, Gene Jackson. And we will be back. I don't know, Eddie, how do you do this thing? Do it.
Folks, we'll be back in just a minute. This is Beyond Ringside Live.
Ladies and gentlemen, wrestling fans from around the world, I'm Lightning Mike Quackenbush, the master of 1,000 holes, and you're locked in for Beyond Ringside.
The To Be Determined show live Wednesday nights, 9 Central Standard Time. Join myself, the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, the Grand Design, Clyde Braddock, and the Magic City Runner, Fast Eddie Layne, as we take you to the edge of uncensored. Yes, we go uncensored, so make sure you have your earmuffs. Ask your parents, for those of you that are a little young, maybe under 18, but make sure if you have any heart conditions or any mental defects, please listen, because they may take effect right here live every Wednesday night, 9 Central Standard Time. Beyond Ringside Radio Network, beyondringside.com.
This is Merciless Ray Mercer, Olympic gold medalist and board member of Find the Dream, and you're locked into Beyond Ringside.
This is Danny Cage from the world famous Monster Factory, and you're locked in to Beyond Ringside.
Sunday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern here on BeyondRingside.com. Join us for the Midnight Black Mass. Myself, the Reverend Dan Wilson, brings you the dark gospel of professional wrestling, uncensored, unedited, uncut, and not for the faint of heart. You can find out more about us at youtube.com/pottyhumor or subscribe at Potty Humor on iTunes and Stitcher today.
Everybody, it's Jakara's finest, the chocolate ice cream dream, the backcourt bandit, Sugar Dunkerton, letting you know that you are locked in to Beyond Ringside. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Do not turn that dial.
This is Angel Orsini.
This is the Human Hand Grenade, Danny Only.
This is Dirty Dutch Mantel.
This is Liz Savage.
This is Vinny O'Brien, 2010 Golden Glove champion. This is Gabe Sapolsky from Dragon Gate USA and Evolve Pro Wrestling, and you're locked into Beyond Ringside.
And welcome back into Beyond Ringside Home Run Round on this Sunday night edition. Going to run things down real quick. Coming up in about 52 minutes from right now, Wrestle Rage Radio with Smart Rage and Stan kicks off. I do believe that their special guest for tonight, slated to be pro wrestling star / legend Glacier, coming on board. Also, the brand new edition of the Midnight Black Mass, slated to roll at 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Central, 8 Pacific time. Keep it locked in right here, Sunday night, the trifecta, if you will, on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network and the Beyond Ringside family of shows. Fast Eddie Layne over here. MaBo, welcome back.
What's up?
You said you had. Say what?
Dude, I gotta send you this meme. That Wrestling Memes put out. If you don't follow them, it's their new cover photo on Facebook.
Okay.
It would be the best thing. I know. It would not surprise me if TNA made this a match, but and I'm just laughing because I can think of the concept. The floor is made of lava. 30 men. One winner. You know, because when you're a kid, you used to jump from the furniture to the furniture and try not to touch the floor because it's made of lava. That would be the best gimmick match ever.
Okay.
Look, kids, I'm high right now. Leave me alone.
Of course. And you don't even do drugs.
And I don't even do drugs. The lack of oxygen going to my brain. Hey, Eddie, did I ever tell you that you remind me of the Babe?
Say what?
You remind me of the Babe.
Which Babe?
No, try again. You remind me of the Babe.
Who's the Babe?
What Babe?
What Babe?
The Babe with the power.
What power?
Power of voodoo.
Get to the punchline.
You don't remember the movie Labyrinth?
No.
David Bowie?
Never saw it. Actually saw it many moons ago.
But yes, so, you know, remind me of the Babe. What Babe? The Babe with the power. What power? Power of voodoo. Voodoo. You do what? Remind me of the Babe.
Okay.
Yeah. But now, did you get a chance real quick? Did you get a chance to see what do you call that show there? Impact, the live broadcast.
I was just starting to ask you that when you cut me off about the punchline that never occurred.
That was the punchline. You just didn't know how to play along.
This coming from you really scares me.
Hey, I can't help it if you don't know how to play in the toy box that is my brain. So, did you watch it?
Yes, I did. The majority of it.
What'd you think?
I thought it was well done. I actually thought it was better than Monday Night Raw this week.
I could see that. I could definitely see that.
And I do. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, what did you think about some of the events that unfolded, especially seeing as what we talked about last week, about how I said Gail Kim would be the third, although it would be awesome if it was Lacey Von Erich. And then it turns out that Awesome Kong's the leader of the Dollhouse. Did you make it that far?
Yes, I did, and I would like to, I did this yesterday on Shooter's Gallery. I would like to congratulate Kong for doing as many turns in one day, or in 1 year, that Big Show did in 2.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean,
she has now joined Rarefied Air, because to flip back and forth.
Well, look, Big Show has just done the same thing. Going into the Rumble, I guess, with the Wyatts and all that.
Face, heel, protagonist, antagonist. It becomes boring after a while. I'm a huge fan of Kong. And I'm not even talking about the fact that I'm about 55 pounds overweight. I am a huge fan of Kong. But to continue to flip her character, people become immune to it. As
like
if
Big Show.
As with Big Show. Yes, because 1 minute he's flip-flopping, laughing stock, all of the above, and then all of a sudden he's supposed to be this roaring badass heel going into the Brock Lesnar match, and I just couldn't buy into it. Well, here we go again. Awesome Kong, okay, babyface, heel, somewhere in between, and then all of a sudden aligns herself with the Dollhouse, the Kong House.
Yeah,
and it just, I just sat back and said, really? You couldn't have come up with anything better? You couldn't have just let her tear through all 6? You couldn't have her level and be an island unto herself like the badass that her character is supposed to be?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, well, it'd be nice, but I mean, to put her with the Dollhouse, the Dollhouse, that just doesn't seem like it's a good fit for her at all.
And the Dollhouse is over to begin with. They don't have to have Kong backing them up.
I don't know. I don't like that weird entrance music they have, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like some kind of weird Sarah McLachlan Lilith Fair music.
I'm going to have to turn your system up a little bit because you're barely coming through on the meter.
No, hold on. What I said was I don't like their entrance music because it sounds like some kind of weird Sarah McLachlan Lilith Fair music.
Right, I understand what you were saying, but a lot of people out there wouldn't be able to because you're very soft. I know you're sick. I know you've still got headache stoppage and all that good stuff. But still, I had to bring your volume level up again.
Well, believe me, I was going to say if I start to go soft, we're not going to go back down that road again.
No, we're not.
If I start to sound low, it's because I'm trying to breathe and talk at the same time. So, for those of you who can't hear me, we go fudge yourself.
There you go. So as far as it goes, when Kong's music hit, I'm sitting back going, this would be the perfect time to reestablish Kong as someone who doesn't need anybody. As she could have torn through the BPs, the Dollhouse, all the way across the board, and been the only one standing. This is the way it should have been to begin with. Either that or she tears through 5 out of 6, and Gail Kim is the last one to challenge. They go at it for a second or two, and Kong just basically overpowers her.
I mean, any of that would have made more sense than her aligning herself with the Dollhouse. It just to me, it didn't make sense.
You're right. Now, I also have to sit back and say that some of the promos that were cut during the episode, getting ready to go into the triple threat tag team match, I thought some of them were well done. I thought that there were a couple that were aimless. But by the same token, Impact is notorious for that. Now, I remember Eli Drake as Sean Ricker over in Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, and the guy cut better promos in CWFH than he did the other night on Impact. He just doesn't seem like he's got that arrogance back to him. And I think what he did have was forced this past week on Impact.
Well, I want to know what was up with him raiding Demolition's wardrobe. What's up with that weird bondage thing that he was wearing?
Yeah.
It was just weird.
From there, I'll also sit back and say Ring of Honor suffered a major loss.
Oh, I know, right? But in all fairness,
yes,
it was a major loss, and it was kind of funny to see him on both episodes because he was on Impact. Was it Thursday night? Tuesday night? Wednesday night?
This past week.
Yeah, and then he turned around and he's cutting a promo on on Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
So,
but go ahead.
I was gonna say, but that's what happens when you tape your matches in advance.
Well, fortunately, Ring of Honor doesn't tape that many in advance. Now I know. The question is Impact going to get back into this groove about taping 2 months in advance? And if they are, I'm sorry, this is not traditional network television. There's a difference between wrestling and 24 or wrestling and NCIS. Okay, we know the majority of NCIS is in the can before the show airs. But by the same token, you don't have 100,000 people every 5 minutes trying to pop spoilers for NCIS.
Well, Eddie, I hate to burst your bubble there, buddy, but I know they did a bunch of tapings.
Yes.
Over the past 3 or 4 days.
I know.
And I think they've taped all the way up to, I want to be looking at that porn site. They have taped all the way up to February 2nd.
Well, 3 weeks isn't horrible. 4 weeks is, well, that's borderline. But once again, you're taping a 2-hour show, which, no. But they also have to look at finances and availability. We don't know how into Impact Pop TV is. We don't know exactly how much the network is backing the show. I mean, if you've got a circumstance like the USA Network and NBC Universal, which is all on board and all in with WWE no matter what, then that's an entirely different animal. And this is something that I said yesterday. I really hope that people will give, because apparently Pop TV has a greater, I'm going to do this, I cannot say the word, it gets into more homes than Destination America did.
Well, when it used to be the TV Guide channel, you kind of have that.
Yeah, you do. And you don't have that many channels that many cable and networks providers that are actually dropping them.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like this. For everybody who over the last 2 years has been running down Impact, you can despise Dixie Carter all day long. And yes, it's a double-edged sword. When you turn on a television show, the network gets the impression that you're supporting them. The concept of the company gets the feeling that you're supporting them. You may only be a fan of one person on that show, but you're still going to be placating the ego of the people that run the company. I could sit back and say that during the whole Hogan run debacle, that I was not a fan of Hulk Hogan. But for every time my DVR clicked on and recorded the show, Hulk Hogan can sit back and, see, they're tuning in to watch me, brother. No, I wasn't. Because anytime your face would come on my television screen, I would hit the fast forward button. Because I was so over seeing Hogan. Because it's the same damn thing. And then you brought in Brooke to be the VP of the Knockouts. Barf. Really? That was horrid. That just horrid. Horrid. Not the way it should be spelled when you're talking about Brooke Belair, Brooke Hogan. WHORE-ID. But I'm also going to throw this one out there. I was starting to make a reference to the Miracle Mike Bennett. Yes, I have high hopes for him, and yeah, there are some expectations because of what I've seen of him in Ring of Honor and live appearances. Bennett's a great in-ring talent. Maria is still hot.
Hey, you and I agree on some things. We disagree on a lot of things, but I think we will forever stand by each other and say that Maria Kanellis is hot.
That's just a beautiful woman. I'm sorry, plain and simple. And for her to be as eloquent and clear-spoken as she was on the microphone on Tuesday Night Impact, that says a lot for how other companies have underutilized her. I mean, I became a huge fan of hers the night of the trial of Eric Bischoff on Monday Night Raw.
See, that's what I was going to say. As much as I enjoyed the ditzy character that she did play when she was with WWE, and she would have those minor momentary lapses into, being eloquent and well-spoken and all that stuff. And I did enjoy that character. I just thought it made me laugh, and, it served its purpose. But to see how, sorry, I didn't mean to Peter Brady that. But to see how she has portrayed herself with Ring of Honor and with other, independent companies, I mean, as much as I enjoyed her previous, it kind of pisses me off a little bit that a more worldwide scene didn't get to see that. So, but once again, that's just me.
And I'm just gonna sit back and say the suit he was wearing was cool, but the hat was horrible.
Well, to me, I don't know what it looked like. He should have
sucked.
He looked like he should have been in Miami smoking a big stogie or something.
Yeah, really. I was waiting on what's his name, the guy who used to be one of the managers in WWE.
Armando Estrada.
That's it.
Listen to me. You stole my suit.
But you didn't get my cigar.
But yeah, I miss Armando Estrada. He was really good too.
He really was.
But yeah, I just just wanted to touch on that real quick. It's, and of course, you do know who won the tournament, right?
Really? Go ahead. Your thoughts first.
Well, I can't say anything because I kind of know the spoilers of what's going to happen later on in the next few weeks.
Which, that sucks that they're being posted.
Yeah, I know. But, once again, I'm the guy that'll sit there and go read, spoilers like for Star Wars or for a Marvel movie and go openly look for the stinger, not Sting, but the actual stingers that they put at the end of movies. Because even if I know about it, I'm still going to enjoy it when it happens. And
yeah, but you yourself have said that if you've already read the spoilers, there's a good chance you may not even watch the show.
Well, that's the difference between wrestling and movies. Like movies, I kind of want to know what happens, so I'm not hyper focused on the big reveal that I miss something else. But that's the thing is, yeah. I mean, if it looks like a good show, then I'll DVR them regardless. But whether I fully watch a match or a promo or whatever, or whether I fast forward, it's two different things. But I kind of want to know what was going to happen. Look, I know what's going to happen in the next few sets of tapings for NXT. Am I going to watch it? Yeah. Why? Because I love what NXT does. They put out a great product. There's a lot of the matches coming out of the tapings or a lot of the scenarios that are coming out of the tapings that, for Impact, that I'm like, well, I definitely got to check out that. I definitely want to see how that works out. So, there's the one involving the heavyweight title I don't want to talk about, but I think it's no shot on Matt Hardy, and I know we got to wrap it up because I know you got a thing in 5 minutes that you need to get out and do. So I'll get ready for it. But no shot against Matt Hardy. I loved Matt Hardy when he was doing the Hardy Boy stuff. His version 1 stuff was I loved it. Oh my God, I loved it. I loved V1. But it's just trying to put the belt on him because he's a big recognizable name compared to other people on the roster. And just no, don't go back to what made TNA in the first place. Giving new talent chances like AJ. I mean, AJ wasn't new, but at the time, nobody really knew who AJ was outside of the South or independents. Joe had a pretty recognizable name amongst the independent wrestling fans. But he wasn't a more, worldwide name. Same thing for Christopher Daniels. Go back to doing that. If you want to use quote-unquote names, like a Hardy's or at the time Bully Ray, although I think Bully Ray should have gotten a better run. I mean, he had a good run, a solo career, but I would have loved to see the Bully Ray character go further. But use the older names to help establish, which to me is what pro wrestling should be. And they're doing it to some extent, but I'm glad that, EC3 won the title. I mean, I've always been a big proponent of Derek Bateman or, what's his name, John Hutter, whatever his real name is that they've used on AIW or whatever. But, EC3, I've always been a big fan of his since I saw him on the original NXT when it was a game show down in FCW. So, I'm glad he's finally getting the recognition that he deserves. That's just me. I mean, he's definitely got the look, despite the chance, because I think now they're just more just for fun. He can wrestle. He's got a look. He's gotten better with each passing day on the mic. So I'm glad he's got the belt.
You and me both. I will reiterate what I said yesterday. I appreciate what Matt Hardy did in Omega and other promotions before he got the big break in WWE. I appreciate the tag team known as the Hardy Boys. As far as the term top tier talent, yes, I believe Jeff Hardy is top tier. Unfortunately, I'm tired of Matt Hardy being forced upon us.
Yes.
They did it in the E. I mean, and the storyline revolving around Matt and Edge and Lita, I thought was funny. I thought WWE did a good job of taking reality TV and turning it into a storyline for their shows.
Yeah.
All the way down to Paul Heyman saying, "I've got 2 words for you, Matt freaking Hardy." And that they turned it in. That's how I know that Heyman's promo was scripted. Although it was still funny as hell.
Yeah.
But when they brought him in and tried to do the Jesus Christ whatever it was in Ring of Honor with Scum.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're doing the same damn thing at Impact. Matt Hardy, to me, once again, I don't dislike Matt Hardy as an individual. I'm sure he's a hell of a guy. But as far as on camera, on screen, Matt Hardy, to me, does not represent a viable top-tier world champion. Period. Because you don't see Matt Hardy in anything other than jeans or what looks like the mutant workout pants or pajamas. The only thing he hasn't worn is a onesie. The hair always looks unkept.
He really does have gross hair.
Yeah. And the beard looks like, no. He didn't break past puberty more than 3 minutes. And like I said, this is not personal. This is strictly professional. This is strictly what I see on the televised product and in person on shows. At live events.
This is you going, okay, is this who I want to make the long-term face of my company?
No. No.
I'm just saying that's you saying that, right?
Right.
Because of his look.
Right. He carries himself well, but the way that, I'm sorry, he just does not come across as a champion. I'm going to stop because I know I'm pissing people off that are listening, and I know people have already clicked, and I'm sorry. But if your skin is that freaking thin to where I cannot express my opinion about an individual and you're going to get all pissy and change over, well, Fast Eddie Layne, he's only Matt Hardy. Go F yourself.
Or MF yourself.
Yeah, go MF-er yourself.
Yeah.
With the V1 logo. Because obviously you got the 2 for the front and 1 in the back.
2 in the pink, 1 in the pink.
Whatever. Let's do it. I got to do it.
I know.
By the way, and yes, I will probably order the Vince McMahon mugshot T-shirt. I thought that was funny as hell.
Yeah, and real quick, we can touch on this next week or Tuesday night or whatever. Now that John Cena's out and had surgery, looks like
see you at Sammy's.
Not too many names over there going to be at Mania.
Nope. Because Rollins is out, Cena is out, Orton's a question mark, Lesnar, of course, is going to be somewhere. But, yeah, that's something that we can definitely start working on for covering next week if you manage to make it back from Piedmont in time, because I know what the travel time is from there to where you are. But
what is it, by the way?
About an hour 40. About an hour 40, I think.
Oof.
You'll make it. You'll be fine. And if all else fails, we'll pick up where we left off somewhere down the road. We'll be definitely going on because the anniversary episode's right around the corner, too. Got to work on stuff for that, too.
This show hasn't been real in the past 2 years. So
I think we agreed that it is real because you had that realization 3 weeks ago.
I was probably high.
You probably were on cold medicine. Mark MaBo Bowman, last call.
There we go. That was my last call.
All right. Paul's going to run it down for you. I'm going to go, since I kind of went off a minute ago, I'm going to go ahead and bypass my traditional last call and go ahead and remind everybody, live programming continues. Son of a bitch.
One of those 3.
Yeah, really. Of course, I still got to go back and fix MaBo's geographical F-bombs from a little bit earlier in the show.
That was not a geographical F-bomb.
Yes, it was. Yes,
That's how you pronounce
Don't argue with me on that one. I know you too well. You saw the window. You thought you could sneak it by, but you tried to do it a second time. If you'd have left it at 1 out of it, I said, okay, fine, leave it in there. I don't care.
No, that's how you pronounce it, right?
But you did too. Well, don't pronounce it again. Don't. Just don't.
Hey, you're not from there. You don't know how to pronounce it, so hush.
You're right. I'm from #HellDamAssville. Live programming continues in approximately 26 minutes right here on Beyond Ringside Sports Radio with Wrestle Rage Radio with Smart Rage and Stan. Special guest slated to be Glacier this evening. Right now, the chubby one is over at Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment, and will probably be We'll probably be calling in immediately after he gets out of there. Stan Grubb, of course, ready to take the helm in just a few minutes. And of course, at 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 Central, 9 Mountain, 8 Pacific time, it will be the brand new episode of the Midnight Black Mass with Reverend Dan Wilson and Andrew Alexander. Programming continues Tuesday night, the 12th of December, with Back to Basics. What's going to happen this week? Only heaven knows, because I ain't got the return phone calls yet. And of course, Wednesday the 11th, it will be, Wednesday the 13th, it will be the To Be Determined show, starring the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, along with Angie Tessarian, along with the Grand Design Clyde Braddock. And I know what they've got up for this week. It's going to be fun. Keep your eyes open on BeyondRingside.com. Media page has been updated with a lot of new links to previous episodes from the entire BR family of shows. And of course, don't forget, 1 week from last night, we will be back with the Shooters Gallery on the 16th. 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific time. Yours truly, Shane Knowles, Robert Cosper. A lot of things happening. And of course, we're going to have a lot of looking back and looking forward to do, because you've got the National Championship game tomorrow night, the 11th, as well as the NFL, the playoffs continue in the National Football League. So we're going to have a lot to cover in that regard, and plus UFC's got some big events coming up in the very near future and a lot of headlines being made. From that vantage point, it's been fun. And yeah, I'm still buying the Vince McMahon t-shirt. MaBo, got shameless plugs you want to throw out?
No, but I do. Next weekend, next Sunday, Eddie's got the poster up. You can also go check out the Twin States Wrestling page over on Facebook. In Piedmont, Alabama, Pro South Arena. Come watch me try to host the event. Should be interesting. Great wrestling, mediocre hosting abilities. But real quick, I do find it kind of ironic that for WrestleMerica this past weekend, Iceberg took on Glacier. I just find that funny.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know if anybody else got that, but I just thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to see that. I would have liked to, but of course, that was done on a Friday night. Shane Knowles was there. It gave us a little bit of a recap on the show.
Was he?
Yeah, Shane showed up. Number of people.
Oh, cool.
Let's take it on out. Folks, of course, at Beyond Ringside on Twitter, Facebook.com/Beyond Ringside Live, but please bookmark BeyondRingside.com. For me personally, my homepage is Fast Eddie Layne, LAYNE.com, and yes, I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, MySpace, LinkedIn, Google Plus as well. Thank you to everybody who's managing to catch us on the replay side of life. Don't forget, you can find us everywhere from iTunes to iHeartRadio, Podomatic, Stitcher, Spreaker, Downcast, a number of different ways. Yes, Downcast recently added. Been meaning to put that one out there as well. And of course, on YouTube, Ustream, and sometimes even on Daily Motion. Till next time, for Mark MaBo Bowman.
I gotta go pee.
Special thank you to Gene Jackson for coming on board this evening. And also going to put Wick's picture on a milk carton sometime very soon. I am the Magic City Motor Mouth, Fast Eddie Layne, saying adios, das vidania, hasta luego, auf Wiedersehen, ciao, sayonara, adieu, arrivederci, farewell, abasinia, au revoir. And until we meet again, hold that thought. Why, he's got the 17th, I've got the 16th. Peach State Wrestling Alliance in Carrollton, Georgia at the VFW Fairgrounds, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later on Wrestle Rage, and Tuesday on Back to Basics. Until next time, thanks for joining us, and join us next time as we all go Beyond Ringside. Bye for now.